the age of 76, Roger Hodgson has just shocked millions of Supertramp fans by deciding to break a decades-long cold silence. This stark confession directly targets his late bandmate Rick Davies, exposing a ruthless dark side behind the glamour. This is not an empty eulogy, but the key that unlocks a Pandora's box filled with torn-up backroom deals and betrayal. A fierce secret kept until the grave is now suddenly brought to the light of the press. What truth turned the greatest bond in progressive rock history into a brutal war for the throne? Let us journey back down memory lane to unfold the bitter final chapter that the two genius maestros never wanted you to know. Entering 1974, Rick Davies conducted a comprehensive overhaul for Supertramp following a series of consecutive commercial failures beforehand. He adamantly sought new collaborators with supreme technical skill to materialize groundbreaking ideas. The legendary lineup was established thanks to the joining of saxophonist John Helliwell and bassist Dougie Thompson. The final piece completing the stable performing framework was American drummer Bob Siebenberg, bringing new vitality. This historic personnel change immediately reaped sweet rewards with their third studio album, Crime of the Century, in late 1974. The outstanding work entered the top of major charts, rescuing the group from financial crisis. To protect internal stability against two large egos, Davies and Roger Hodgson agreed to sign a strategic copyright agreement. All songs published from this period onward were registered under the joint Davies-Hodgson trademark. This fair profit-sharing model was praised by the media as a second British Lennon-McCartney version. But hidden behind that legally binding contract was a deeply divided reality. Press reports exposed the fact that the two genius leaders almost never sat down together to co-write any songs. They maintained the habit of working independently in two separate rooms before piecing them together. It was precisely this underlying but intense conflict that pushed the collective's creativity to a brilliant peak in early 1979. The landmark studio album Breakfast in America was officially released and exploded globally. The outstanding work held the #1 spot on the US Billboard chart for many consecutive weeks, selling millions of copies. The massive revenue quickly turned the members from poor artists into financial millionaires. The overwhelming success in the US market forced the entire band and their families to migrate to Los Angeles to settle down. This landmark geographical change unintentionally ignited devastating tragedies. In California, the pressure of money began to severely damage the already fractured personal relationship between the two leaders. The deep interference of their wives into management affairs began to form secret factions. The studio space, once a place for artistic sublimation, now turned into an incredibly suffocating, intense psychological battlefield. Deep disagreements regarding an affluent lifestyle versus a thrifty mindset caused them to fracture deeply. Roger Hodgson later opened up about those days of enduring suffocating pressure in an exclusive interview with the music press. "I felt the original soul of the band had been sucked dry by commercial calculations and control." When the egos of the two geniuses surpassed the boundaries of endurance, dissolution was inevitable. But the greatest emotional wound did not come from breaking up. It came from a promise of honor trampled under the heel of money. The betrayal scandal. Entering the early 1980s, the wave of internal tension between Supertramp's two supreme leaders reached an irrecoverable peak. Deep conflicts over their subsequent artistic direction turned into prolonged, bitter arguments. The production process of the seventh studio album, titled Famous Last Words, in 1982 took place in an extremely frigid atmosphere. Rick Davies and his partner completely refused to discuss directly at the recording studio. The globally shocking event officially erupted in mid-1983 when Roger Hodgson publicly announced his musical divorce from the band. Received press reports confirmed that he wanted to find his own path and protect his family life. This departure pushed Rick Davies into a position of having to solely shoulder the entire future of the Supertramp brand under fierce pressure. But before the leader officially walked away, a historic secret agreement was established. The two sides reached a top-secret agreement known as a gentleman's handshake agreement. According to press documents, Hodgson accepted relinquishing the entire ownership of the Supertramp trade name to Rick Davies for exclusive management. This exclusive ownership allowed Rick Davies full authority to organize world tours to reap massive profits. In return, he had to fulfill an ultimate obligation of honor toward the catalog of old works. The agreement strictly stipulated that the band Supertramp from that point onward was not allowed to perform any songs composed by Hodgson. This was considered an inviolable moral boundary to protect individual authorship. In 1984, the power structure of the band changed comprehensively when Mrs. Sue Davies, Rick's wife, officially took over the management role. The appearance of this woman reshaped the entire music business mindset. Faced with heavy financial pressure, the band proceeded to release a studio album titled Brother, Where You Bound in 1985. To maximize revenue, a series of large-scale touring live shows at stadiums was launched. The fierce reality unfolded when performance organizers continuously pressured the band regarding stadium occupancy rates. They bluntly declared that the ticket-buying audience only wanted to hear the classic hits from the previous golden era. Confronted with a vital economic equation, Rick Davies made a shocking decision when he publicly tore up his oath of honor. He proceeded to hire seasonal touring singers to fill in for his former partner. Iconic melodies such as The Logical Song or Dreamer continuously rang out for the purpose of profiting from the general audience. This behavior completely ignored the fierce opposition from the original author of the artworks. Roger Hodgson was shocked to discover that his life's greatest spiritual legacy was turned into a crude commercial advertising tool in the newspapers. His official silence was broken when he decided to expose this scandal before the public. In a shocking, exclusive interview made public with the media at that time, Hodgson bluntly criticized, "Rick Davies betrayed the minimal trust of a friend when using my works as tools to make money." This scandal officially pushed the relationship between both sides into a brutal Cold War, entering the year 1987. The disastrous failure of the subsequent album, titled Free as a Bird, made the situation even worse. To salvage the declining situation, Rick Davies' side continued to increase the frequency of unauthorized abuse of Hodgson's classic songs. This behavior met with strong condemnation from the loyal fan community worldwide. Responding to the intense wave of outrage from the press and public opinion, Rick Davies' management representative immediately issued a cold declaration. "The Supertramp brand belongs to our legal ownership, and we have the right to perform." That trust-shattering blow initiated a decades-long Cold War era, a place where one side tried to erase all traces of the former partner, while the other desperately extended an olive branch only to receive a bitter turning away in return. The war for the throne. Entering the year 1989, Rick Davies officially established absolute power and became the sole remaining founding member running Supertramp. He ordered a temporary suspension of the group's activities to carry out a comprehensive restructuring according to his exclusive will. It was not until 1997 that Rick Davies released the next studio product titled Some Things Never Change. Music analysis reports assessed that this work attempted to reclaim past glory but completely failed. Continuing the chain of solitary efforts, in 2002, the final studio album titled Slow Motion was officially released. This product was completely lackluster and could not overcome the massive shadow of the previous golden era. Davies' exclusivity also made other veteran members like bassist Dougie Thompson resentful and refused to participate. The Supertramp machine at this time was merely a hollow brand serving pure commercial purposes. The severe decline in physical album sales forced Davies' management apparatus to change strategy. The band at this time maintained its existence by depending entirely on commercially touring old songs. The throne tension officially exploded into a major media scandal in early 2010. This was the moment marking the exact 40-year milestone of the band's establishment, opening up a major live show business opportunity in the European market. Rick Davies immediately organized a large-scale anniversary tour codenamed 7010 across stadiums. This action quickly met with a fierce wave of criticism from the music press. Press investigations exposed the fact that Rick Davies had proactively excluded Roger Hodgson's name completely from the performance lineup. He adamantly kept the schedule a secret and did not send any official notification to his partner. The international fan community was extremely outraged by this ruthless, commercially driven isolation. They voiced accusations that Davies' management deliberately profited off memories and the lack of information. Faced with public pressure and the excessive abuse of the artistic legacy, Roger Hodgson decided to break his prolonged silence. He published a very long open letter on his official website. In this report document, Hodgson bluntly exposed the serious ethical violation of his old friend. Rick is making money from deeply philosophical, spiritual songs that he originally did not write and never believed in. News commentators assess this as a direct blow to Rick Davies' reputation and honor. The unauthorized use of others' highly personal works to sell tickets was severely condemned. Regardless of the ethical accusations, commercial concerts continued to be held regularly from 2011 to 2013. Ticket revenue still flowed steadily into the management company's account. To protect the spiritual rights of the general audience, Hodgson affirmed that he had proactively taken many steps. He continuously sent proposals to co-perform completely for free in the live show series. Hodgson himself later bitterly shared with the media about his failed reconciliation effort. "I tried to extend the olive branch to bring the best to the audience, but in return was rejection." Rick Davies and manager Sue Davies, on their part, completely maintained an attitude of disregard toward all goodwill messages. They chose the solution of absolute silence to extinguish all hope for a historic reunion event. Time may fade the live show posters, but it cannot erase the malignant cells silently destroying the body. The final chapters in Rick Davies' life are a series of bitter tragedies closing with a cold silence that is suffocating. The ego's final piece. Entering the year 2015, as the band Supertramp was preparing for a major tour titled Supertramp Forever, shocking news broke. Medical staff officially confirmed that leader Rick Davies was facing an extremely critical health condition. Subsequent investigative medical reports exposed the fact that the male artist was diagnosed with malignant bone marrow cancer. This devastating disease directly attacked blood cells and bone structure, completely destroying his mobility. This sudden, severe illness immediately forced the management to announce the cancellation of the entire international touring live show series. All commercial artistic activities of the Supertramp brand officially fell into a state of complete freeze from then on. Rick Davies was forced to withdraw from the stage spotlight to enter a decade-long aggressive medical treatment regimen. He underwent a series of complex chemotherapy sessions at leading oncology centers to sustain life. But the maestro's life tragedy did not stop at the physical pain ravaged by illness. While in a serious treatment phase in 2021, he continued to suffer another fatal blow from a legal standpoint. Media news reports exposed the fact that former members of the group simultaneously filed lawsuits in civil court. This brutal litigation directly targeted both Rick Davies and Roger Hodgson to dispute royalty distribution rights. The plaintiffs accused the leading duo of being non-transparent in allocating profits generated from the catalog of old works. This tense internal legal battle quickly became the focus of exploitation by investigative journalism. After many tense adversarial hearings, Rick Davies finally reached a satisfactory financial settlement agreement in mid-2023. Although the case was closed, these prolonged disputes exhausted his last remaining strength. After a decade of resiliently fighting severe illness and continuous litigation pressure, Davies' physical condition completely collapsed. Close sources confirmed that the musician was no longer capable of maintaining normal communication activities with the media. On September 6, 2025, an official press release issued by the family confirmed that Rick Davies had drawn his last breath. He passed away at his private home in Long Island at the age of 81, officially closing a volatile musical era. His passing meant that all secrets about the past internal conflicts lay forever deep underground. There was no official explanation or reconciliation statement issued by the management apparatus. Entering the year 2026, while the public had still not recovered from this great loss, Roger Hodgson suddenly broke his silence. At the age of 76, the former founding member made stark confessions. strongly shocking public opinion. In a belated exclusive interview with the investigative press, Roger Hodgson bitterly made a direct admission: Rick's death was a huge shock. It reminded me of the wounds that both of us had never healed. Hodgson frankly acknowledged that it was their oversized egos and stubborn, clinging to copyrights and money that destroyed them. Those temporary material values caused both to lose the most precious opportunity of a human life. Choking back tears, he expressed deep regret to news reporters with a self-critical statement: "Arrogance stripped us of the opportunity to offer a sincere apology before one laid down." Roger Hodgson's belated monologue in 2026 closed a melancholy life chapter between the two soulmates. But to fully understand the root cause of this tragedy, the investigative lens must turn back time more than half a century ago to the starting point of a life-changing gamble by a mysterious billionaire. The poverty-stricken past. The history of Supertramp began on July 22, 1944, when Rick Davies was born in Swindon, Wiltshire, England. He grew up in an ordinary working-class family with a father who worked as a Navy stoker and a mother who practiced as a local hairdresser. The harsh post-war living environment in Britain profoundly impacted Davies. The impoverished circumstances helped him early on shape a realistic, somewhat skeptical mindset, completely alienated from any illusions of luxury. His passion for music ignited when he taught himself to play the piano keyboard. He was particularly drawn to pure American jazz and blues melodies, considering them material that genuinely reflected working-class life. After accumulating experience in a few small local bands, Davies officially joined the group named The Joint. Here, he developed a highly gritty keyboard style, creating a core foundation for the future. The fateful turning point occurred in the late 1960s when The Joint toured in Munich, Germany. Rick Davies' outstanding musical talent caught the eye of an eccentric Dutch millionaire named Stanley August Misse Gijs. This wealthy millionaire, often affectionately called Sam, recognized a great talent in Davies. In 1969, Sam made a bold decision by committing comprehensive financial resources to help Rick establish his own group. Returning to London with the funding, Rick Davies placed a classified advertisement looking for members in the Melody Maker newspaper in August 1969. His ultimate goal was to gather the finest musical talents with progressive mindsets. An aristocratic young man, Roger Hodgson, was the first to respond. Regardless of the deep differences in social background and personal artistic views, Rick Davies immediately recognized his partner's innate musical talent. The initial lineup was fully established under the primitive name Daddy. The band subsequently decided to change their name to Supertramp before entering a professional recording studio to seek their first commercial glory in 1970. In an early press release, Davies directly asserted his artistic stance: "We want to create music of absolute value, even if it means accepting starvation." Thanks to the abundant financial backing from Sam, the band released their self-titled debut album, Supertramp, in July 1970. This work suffered a disastrous commercial failure as it was completely unable to reach the mass audience. The defeat ignited serious internal rifts regarding their subsequent musical direction. A series of core members decided to abandon the project, forcing Rick Davies to urgently conduct a search for personnel. In June 1971, Supertramp proceeded to release their second studio album titled Indelibly Stamped. Even though it featured a stronger rock style, this record still suffered a miserable fate with extremely poor sales. Defeated by these two consecutive commercial failures, the millionaire Sam decided to stop playing the game. In late 1972, he officially announced the withdrawal of all core financial resources funding the band Supertramp. Before leaving forever, the millionaire Sam performed an incredibly shocking gesture. He agreed to sign a document wiping out the entire massive debt of tens of thousands of British pounds accumulated by the Supertramp collective. Rick Davies recounted that fierce moment of survival in a documentary interview with the press. "Sam left us a clean sheet of paper free of debt, but we were completely alone in the wilderness." Driven into a survival position, Rick Davies immediately fired all poorly performing former personnel. In early 1973, he and Hodgson stood before the ruins, beginning the journey to resurrect the band from zero. Overcoming the mire of bankruptcy, Rick Davies found the perfect pieces to bring Supertramp to the top of the world. But that very genius fusion carried within itself the seeds of an endless internal war. The story of Rick Davies and Supertramp is a testament showing that artistic peaks must sometimes be traded for indelible emotional wounds. Rick's permanent silence and Roger's belated confession at the age of 76 leave a vast void in the hearts of global fans. What do you think about this bitter war for the throne? Is Rick Davies as stubborn, clinging to the brand and money blameworthy? Or does the fault lie with Roger Hodgson's departure? Leave your opinion right below in the comments section for us to discuss together. If you love authentic and profound music documentary footage like this, do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Please turn on the notification bell icon so as not to miss the next shocking stories about world rock legends.